Okay, let's call the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting to order Monday, December 18th at 5:31 p.m. Roll call.
Right, commissioners, when I say your name, please indicate if you're present. Commissioner Admire,
Present.
and Vice Chair Coladonato is excused. Commissioner Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Diaz,
Present.
Commissioner Finland,
Present.
Commissioner Meyer,
Present.
Commissioner Moralia,
Present.
or Chair Moralia, Commissioner Nagaya,
Present.
and Commissioner Page has indicated that he will be stepping down due to some unforeseen personal circumstances. And then we have Commissioner Spellman is absent. So we have all members present then with Commissioner Spellman absent.
Was Johnny online?
Oh, and yes, and then Vice Chair Coladonato is excused.
We go to the report on posting of the agenda.
So we posted the agenda for this meeting last week on Wednesday, December 13th, in accordance with public meeting posting requirements.
AKA Taylor Swift's birthday.
Yes.
Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from last month? Any modifications? Okay, seeing none, then an approval of the minutes.
I have a motion, I make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, wonderful. Commissioner Admire,
Agree.
Commissioner Davis,
Agree.
Commissioner Diaz,
Agreed.
Commissioner Finland,
Agree.
Commissioner Meyer,
Agree.
Chair Moralia,
Agree.
and Commissioner Nagaya.
Agree.
Motion passes.
Okay, time for public comment. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address Parks and Recreation Commission on agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Although the commission values their comments, pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are assigned for each speaker. I'm assuming we have a few. Come on.
Okay.
Good, we get to start with good news.
We do have good news. You are exactly right, Mr. Chairman.
And then you need to just click the button on the microphone.
Click the button.
And then if you would be so kind,
Well,
just for everyone else to let us know your name.
Hi, I'm David Thotman. I'm a resident of Palm Springs and an injured pickleball player. So also it could have been weights or tennis, not really sure. But that means I've had plenty of time to spend at the courts in the last 3 weeks or so. But first, I just want to let everybody else here know, Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Finland know, we've had 2 planning meetings with the community input meetings for the new pickleball courts that Yvonne and her team have run. They were incredibly productive meetings with a lot of input. And it's going to be a great facility when it's built. I think we'll be proud of it as citizens, as well as for our tourist visitors, which are both are critical to the future of our city. We all know how much pickleball is growing by leaps and bounds, and percentages that are astounding. But we took the time to collect what is over 250 signatures so far, and there's no reason to stop because there's no decision being made here tonight. And there will be ultimately a recommendation coming out of the commission and then ultimately going to council, and we'll just keep this going. But so far 250, because I have all this time on my hands, I've had time to speak to each one individually, and while not every single signature is from Palm Springs, well over 95% of these people, because I pigeonholed them. Do you live here? Do you rent here? Do you have, a connection to Palm Springs? So you can be assured these just weren't random signatures picked up at the pickleball courts, but people who actually have a connection to this city. And we basically thank the city for this project, which means you and the extended staff of the city who've been moving this along. We asked for 25 courts, which is the larger of the two plans that's being considered so far. We asked for the conversion of the tennis court, and we asked for the courts at Palm Springs High School, which is 6 courts as opposed to the 1 court at Demuth Park, for the 6 courts at Palm Springs High School to be opened up to the public to the greatest extent possible, as many hours as can be. And that's something that I think this commission also needs to sort of be more aware of. I see somebody looking mystified over there. But it's beyond what I can address here. But we hope that the commission, as this project unfolds, will support the larger plan, will ultimately convert the court, because you have 400 to 600 players a week, guessing, but large numbers who look at that facility that's fallen into disuse, every day of the week and wonder why. Why, is there sort of an attachment to something that's kind of obvious? But thank you for your time. We look forward to sharing, more of these pages with you as time goes by, but we're not ready to part with them yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on up.
Hello. Hello. I like some of your Christmas decor. The candy canes are nice. I'll take one on the way up. Hello, I brought you, read something. My name is Tanya Petrovna. Hello, I'm a resident of Palm Springs since 1960. And I am a new tennis to pickleball convert. So I get what all the rage is about. It's pretty fun. I did have an injury too, but I'm okay now. So I'm all for more pickleball, but I'm also think that parks are for all people, regardless of age, financial status, and they're for the working class, they're for children, and for those of retirement status, they're a bit for all. And what's nice about a park is enjoying the trees, and nothing can replace the value of an old tree. The shade, the cooling, the enjoyment of bird watching, and the health benefits of terpenes that the old trees release or brand. Terpenes are this cool thing. I was a bio major in college, and my professor talked about terpenes. They're those things that are released in the air to help your health and enhance your life. So removing 15 trees for a continuous slab of concrete will not only add convective and radiant heat, and by the way, the center courts will be the most undesirable of this heat, but it will take away so much more. Those of us who are for the trees, that like pickleball, and many of which couldn't be here tonight, are encouraging the designers to look at some different placement or court grouping alternatives. If the idea is to make the project of increasing the courts viable for holding tournaments, why not find an even better location? As being next to a sewer treatment facility's noxious odor makes it not so inviting to come play in beautiful Palm Springs. Why not aim for something state of the art and that doesn't put pressure on the Palm Springs animal shelter parking for volunteers and adopters? I know this has been an issue, as many pickleball players don't heed the shelter parking only signs. If plans to remove the trees indeed go forward, we would demand an ISA certified arborist report on the value and condition of each tree, as well as the species and age of each tree. We think that even one tree may have a value of $30,000. The city of Palm Springs has already set a precedent for requiring arborist reports on any tree being removed, including clearly dead ones. This must be done for each tree. Also, birds and other wildlife that rely on these trees will be interrupted. We've heard and watched hawks in them, and nesting hawks teaching their young to fly. That was cute. For this reason, we would also demand an environmental impact study. And lastly, upon closer observation of the plans,
The proposed new small trees may not thrive in the configuration plan and appear to be ornamental and not oxygen-rich, carbon-reducing trees. Thank you, and I hope you consider saving the trees for the birds and the bees and crazy people like us that like trees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. My name is John Bakari. I'm a resident here in Palm Springs, still residency actually, Huntington Beach and Palm Springs. 9 months down here and 3 months at the beach. I'm here tonight in support of more pickleball courts. However we may find them. I think the most easiest and logical solution right now to get 4 more courts is to convert that one court, tennis court, at Demuth Park into 4 additional pickleball courts. I think looking at the city of Palm Springs mission statement, looking at where we are today, looking at being a world-class city, the amount of tourism, the amount of snowbirds that use the facilities and want to play pickleball, looking across the country with all the facilities being built in all these cities, major complexes of 40 courts with food like a Field of Dreams in Cathedral City, for example, would be very lucrative for the city to draw people, have tournaments and so on and so forth. Am I saying Demuth Park is that location? I'm not saying that. But for immediate response to the growing need for the courts is to convert those 4, that one tennis court into 4. I don't think it would have any impact to the citizens or snowbirds who play tennis because there's plenty of courts at Ruth Hardy Park that go unattended all day long. At least half of them are unattended all day long. And since there's no works to put any pickleball courts at Ruth Hardy Park, on those courts, I think it's logical to support 4. And I just think looking at your mission statement is just like looking at the future, the generations now, later, economic wealth that we can generate down here as a city to promote tournaments and get more tourism and such. It's worth the fight and worth the look at other alternatives, other locations. But I think we need to address the immediate concern, and that's just the close 4 courts right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi there. Hi, my name is John Fitzgerald. I'm a resident here at Palm Springs. I live in a block away from Ruth Hardy Park. I guess I feel I have a different philosophy about trees at Ruth Hardy Park. I think we want to work a world-class event for people to play. The trees, unfortunately, are going to have to go. The trees are, to my understanding, when I look at them, they seem to be towards the end of their life. They're not native to the desert. We have to come to terms that we do live in a desert and pouring thousands and thousands of gallons onto trees that are not native. It's kind of saying, putting the example we want our own citizenry to follow. The tree, they can be replaced by trees that are much more water, need less water than the present trees that are more native to our environment. Those trees there are also attracting and birds that do nest in them. The majority of the birds, I would say, are not native to the Palm Springs area. So if we're going to put plantings, let's put plantings that support the native wildlife and fauna that we love here. As far as the courts, I think if we're going to put this many courts, we got to look at the future as well. Every place, major places across the country are pushing theirs as destinations. We're going to put 24, 25 courts in. Palm Springs should splash on the side around the windscreen, Palm Springs Park and Pickleball Park, and just start marketing as a 24. We can put lights in it, evenings, and also that it's a year-round pickleball venue and really make the best of it financially for the city as well. Even at one of the meetings, they were talking about putting a kiosk somewhere that, and if we're going to put a kiosk, my thought is why don't we put a kiosk, rent it out to someone that can sell water, sell treats, sell whatever they want. And the city can recoup additional money from that as well. mean, let's face it, the city needs money, and if we're gonna put these type of things in, we should use it to the best and attract people that are coming, gonna spend the money and stay here. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Eli Boyda. I am here to make a statement about, again, the tennis courts versus the pickleball courts. Just to give you guys more of a census of somebody that's been at the courts virtually almost every single day in the last 2 years. I've probably missed maybe a dozen days in the last 2 years, so I kind of know exactly how many people are coming and going throughout the Jungwirth Park. Probably in the last 2 years, I've been there almost every single day. The tennis courts have probably been used probably maybe 12 to 15 times throughout that whole 2 year period. And then again, the pickleball courts are almost capped out every single day throughout the whole year, especially now during high season. Right now, we have about, when people come in during the winter time, when they're getting away from their, the other homes, they come here, the snowbirds, probably 30 to 50 people waiting on the courts currently. And that obviously is not an enjoyable time whenever the board comes into play. There's actually probably less people coming because they don't have to go into that situation. When we would have more courts, there would actually be a much larger influx of players coming in just to actually spend the time at the park. Again, and even give you even a shorter span of time, I've been at the courts every single day in the last 2 weeks. Twice a day, 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. There have been 0 people playing at the pickleball court. I mean, the tennis courts, 0. Not a single body has walked onto that tennis court whatsoever. It just doesn't make sense to keep an existing amenity that you want to have when actually it can be converted to a better amenity that'll be used virtually every single day. It just doesn't really make any sense. I don't really see that much of a cost difference because you're gonna have to resurface and redo the tennis courts already. It's putting an extra fence and a couple extra posts and a couple extra nets, and to make an amenity that would actually be used pretty much every single day all year round. I don't understand why the last meeting that option wasn't even shown anymore, where new people that came to that meeting last week weren't even able to see that other option. There was only one option shown, and that was with the tennis courts, where 99.9% of people there would have agreed that that was just meaningless. It just made no sense how any newcomers coming to that meeting weren't even able to see both options. It just virtually almost pretty much wasted everybody's time. That was a newcomer that wanted to be included in the decision or just see the different options. Again, it's amenity, yes, but it just not being used. And there's so many other courts that can be used, like again, at Ruth Hardy, where there are 0 pickleball courts. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You just have a large influx of people coming in if you had more courts, and it would just be a great facility. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Do we have anyone online?
We can check. Okay, can you please use the raise hand feature if you are in the Zoom waiting room, and we'll promote you to a panelist so you can speak. Okay, looks like we have T. Santora. T, we're bringing you in right now. Okay, it looks like you're coming over, T. And then you'll just need to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can see you and hear you.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you, commissioners, for taking the time to hear the public comments, and thank you for your service. I also want to thank the 3 of you who were at the community meeting, the last one. I hope you got something out of it besides an earful. I want to just reiterate a couple things, points that I made at the meeting. One is that I support option number one, which was not shared at that meeting, but it was shared at the first meeting. That option was clearly the public favorite and remains so, at least from what I can tell. I've been a member of the ad hoc committee for quite some time, talking with people that I know that play pickleball on a regular basis. And I've been to both community meetings. It's clearly the option that is the most popular. And I still support that one. I also want to address the tree issue. As a former sustainability commissioner, I certainly appreciate the notion of having trees, and I appreciate old trees for what they provide. But I also want to reiterate what John said earlier, that some of the trees in question are not native to the area. They probably never should have been planted, and they appear to be at the end of their life. So I'm not a fan of keeping them there and interrupting what would otherwise be a world-class facility. On the other hand, I do agree that, and I believe that it's part of the plan to have an arborist check them out and give you some actual data about the nature of the trees and their longevity. So that would be informative. But at the end of the day, in order to have a facility that's going to work for everyone, if it's going to be between option 1 and 2, option 1 is certainly the better and the more popular one for the group. So I am, full disclosure here, I want to also say that I am one of the signatories to the petition that David has put out. He and the other ad hoc members, along with Commissioner Finney, have been working very hard for very long to try and move this process along. So the last comment I want to make is, please do what you can not to further delay this process and get it back on track and move it forward so we can get the project done. Thank you for your time and happy holidays.
Thank you. And I'm just checking to see if we have anyone else who is in the waiting room who's interested in speaking during public comment. If so, please use the raise hand feature. It's one more check. Is anyone else interested in speaking? Looks like we do not have any additional public speakers. I think that's it.
Nobody else in the room either? Speak now. Another tale. I think we're moving on to the director's report.
Okay. All right, thank you. So at each meeting, I like to give an overview of some of the items that have taken place since our previous meeting. So to get started, I usually provide a report on the items that have gone to council. So since our last commission meeting in November, council has met twice. On December 4th, it was a special meeting, and that was the meeting regarding the Maryland sculpture. So we did not have any Parks and Recreation items on that council agenda. At the December 14th council meeting, we had 2 items that were on the agenda. One was for a new appointment to the Parks and Rec Commission. So we will be getting a new commissioner at our January meeting. And the second item was the approval of the shade structure, the installation of the shade structure for the Demuth Dog Park. And that is the shade structure that I showed images of at the last meeting. So that was just the final acceptance of that. Right now, we're not anticipating any Parks and Recreation items will be on the January council agenda. Just a reminder again that we will be using our new commissioner email addresses, so the new city email addresses starting in January. So we want to continue. If you've not been able to log in to that account, please let us know and we'll get you in touch with our IT department to make sure that your new emails are working. And then for our January meeting, which I do not have the date in front of me right now, I believe it's January 22nd.
23rd.
23rd, thank you, that's better if I get the date right. So January 23rd, our meetings will be in person, so our commission will be expected to be in person. And we will still have the option for members of the public to join us via Zoom to provide any public input or comments. Warming centers, of course, the weather is getting cooler, so just a reminder that we do use two of our community centers, the James O. Jesse Center as well as the Duluth Community Center. Monday through Friday are available for the public to come in and get warm. Park overseating, our annual park overseating is almost completed. The Palm Springs Stadium will be opening up again this week with the final sort of resting and taking out the grass seed there. Otherwise, we've done a phenomenal job again of getting all of our parks overseeded. And of course, our parks are not closed during the overseeding process with the exception of the City Hall Dog Park because it has a small footprint with a number of dogs that are running around. So we just reopened the dog park last week on Wednesday, December 13th. And here are some images of the beautiful grass that we now have at the City Hall Dog Park. And there were a lot of dogs there when we went over, and we also handed out some new fun branded Palm Springs Dog Park tennis balls for all of the dogs that were there. Just a few more pictures because we had a lot of really adorable dogs that were there running around. Our maintenance department also did some additional work in the dog park, prepping both the large and small dog parks for reopening, including some repairs on the benches, as well as repair on the water fountain, gate adjustment, as well as tree trimming to make sure that the space looks great for our community. Some additional gravel will be going in as well. Signage, I talked at the last meeting about our new signage with the QR codes that we have installed right now at two of our playgrounds. So this was just sort of a rendering of our new signage. And then here is some of the signage then installed at our park. So this is at the Duluth small playground area. And then the Duluth large playground area. So the Duluth playground obviously is open right now. And we are just alerting to the public that in early 2024, that playground will be getting all new equipment. And then Victoria Park, that playground is partially closed right now. So that playground installation will be happening first before Duluth. And we'll keep tracking the usage of the QR code to see if that's something that's valuable for our community to get information about our projects on signs that way. At the last meeting, I talked a little bit about some of the amazing work that our maintenance and parks teams have been doing to make sure that our park spaces are looking great for the public. So a lot has been in motion since our last meeting. Repairs of restrooms, drinking fountains, basketball nets were replaced at Sunrise and Bristow Parks. We had some damaged barbecues that were removed. We had graffiti removal at Bristow, as well as Desert Highland. Some holes were filled at the Duluth soccer fields. Benches were installed at the Duluth Dog Park. Some lighting was replaced too, and some new sod along Caballeros. Over at the swim center, our maintenance team worked on repairing a leaking chlorine line. They installed the new circulation pump for the pool heater, replaced some additional shower heads, and also performed our routine pool maintenance for us. Downtown, our crews worked on installing banners for upcoming special events. They also worked on the street lights to make sure that they had the appropriate mounts for the banners, as well as did maintenance on the fountain. Adjusted light timers, and also trim trees as well. Some photos of some work that they did as well. So the Sunrise Park Playground received 25 tons of new fresh sand, which the kids are incredibly enjoying right now. And Ruth Hardy Park also received 25 tons of sand replenishment. Here's a new volleyball net that went off the replacement volleyball net at Victoria Park. And then the crews right now are working on some restroom repairs from a water leak at the leisure center. So that's currently in progress. And that should be completed, I believe, by the end of this week or early next week. Shifting into some events that have taken place since our last Parks and Rec Commission meeting in November. We kicked off the holidays with the Village Fest celebration on November 30th from 6 to 10. We had a huge turnout for this event, and it was also an opportunity for the public to decorate cookies with Mrs. Claus, as well as get their photos taken. Just a few more photos of Village Fest to kick off the holiday season. The next day, on Friday, December 1st, we had our annual tree lighting ceremony at Francis Stevens Park. That included arts and crafts for kids, and then followed by the tree lighting at 5:15. So here's some of the photos of this event as well. And there you can see our city manager, Scott Stiles, in one of those photos. And the kids worked on making snow globes. And of course, Santa and Mrs. Claus made an appearance. And just a few more photos of the tree lighting. The next day, on Saturday, December 2nd, we did our annual Festival of Lights Parade on Palm Canyon Drive. There were about 100 entries in the parade this year, so this is some of the behind the scenes staging area where the balloons were being inflated, as well as the Parks and Rec team, who also works and supports the event. Councilmember Holstage we captured before she got on the city council float. And then just additional photos of the behind the scenes and the actual parade itself. Our team handed out lunches to the volunteers as well. The next day then, on Sunday, December 3rd, we had one additional event for the community to meet Santa at the downtown park. So for those who wanted to see Santa again or have their picture taken with Santa at the downtown park, there was an opportunity to get your photo taken, as well as get some sweet treats. So here's some of the photos from that event to kick off the holidays. On Tuesday, so then 2 days later, we had our community outreach meeting for the swim center on Tuesday, December 5th. We had probably about 60 members of the community attended this meeting. So our lead architect, Maria Song, with Interactive Design Corporation, presented some options for improving the restrooms at the swim center, as well as improving ADA access, as well as the fencing. And then during that meeting, they received feedback, which will help with the design development process. And that was the second community outreach meeting that was done on the swim center, because we previously did one in July at our open house. On Friday, December 8th, we did a new community event to kick off the holidays at our Duluth Community Center. We did a gingerbread house contest. It's our first year doing this event, very, very popular. And there you can see we've got Commissioner Nagaya in our photo on the left, where the community was able to decorate gingerbread houses. And this is an event that we are thinking about doing again. On Tuesday, December 12th, we did our second community outreach meeting for the pickleball courts at the Duluth Community Center. We heard a lot of public comment about that meeting today. So this meeting was led by our design team, Kimley Horn, who presented some modified concept for enhancing the courts at the pickleball site. And then based on that feedback that they received at that meeting and feedback that they've received tonight, they will continue to modify the design. And here's just some additional photos of that event. On Friday, December 15th, we did our annual Christmas program at the James O. Jesse Center. This is also a toy giveaway event. So the community came out and was able to have some great snacks, do some crafts, as well as have their photos taken with Santa and Mrs. Claus, and then get a present on their way out. So here's some of the photos from that event. The next day, on Saturday, December 6th, we had another event for the community, Breakfast with Santa, at the Pavilion in Sunrise Park. This event is an annual event of ours, and we, I think, had over, 620 people attend this event on Saturday. Of course, there was snow. We got a new snow machine that works incredibly well. So we really had some deep snow out there for the community. Arts and crafts as well. The community was able to make snow globes again, as well as make some Christmas tree ornaments. We also have a new 360 camera, which was widely popular, where you sort of stood on that middle of the platform and then the camera goes around and creates a 360 video. So that was the first time we were able to use that with the community. And just a few more photos of the toy giveaway. And of course, an event like this, as well as the Christmas event at James O. Jesse, is not possible without really generous donations from our community. So that is how we're able to do so many great events. Our Palm Springs Skate Park was there as well, with a skateboard giveaway. You see that in the lower right. And some more photos.
Oh.
And we've got
so
Commissioner
cute, your
Davis
little sleigh.
in our sleigh as well. So
I thought we
thank you.
talked about not using
Thank
these
you.
for public
Thank you for
consumption.
posing a photo for me. Let's see, then that same day, we also had our Saturday market at the Duluth Community Center. So that was on Saturday, December 6th, and that is it's the second year that we're doing this market series. It's an opportunity for the community to come out and sell any items that they're interested in selling. Okay, so those are some things that happened in the last 3 weeks since our last commission meeting, or highlights of some of the things that happened. I didn't put everything in there, but that's probably a good overview. Save the dates for upcoming Parks and Recreation events coming up. And before I go into those, just a quick reminder, we often get asked, like, how does the public find out about the events that we're doing? So there's a couple ways that we do it at our community centers and facilities. We post flyers about the upcoming events. We also use our website and social media a lot. So we use Instagram and Facebook, and we also post on Nextdoor. We use this meeting as well, the Parks and Rec Commission meeting, to serve as a resource for the community to find out about what we're doing. And then we also have some newsletters. We often send out emails. And then for some of our larger events, there will be press releases as well. So those are the primary ways that the community would find out about those upcoming events. It is winter camp season now. So we are kicking off a 3-week camp at Sunrise Park. Just started today. So 3 weeks for kids to come out and have some holiday fun with our Parks and Rec staff. And also we are doing our winter camp at the James O. Jesse Center as well. Same thing, it's a three-week session camp ending on January 5th for James O. Jesse. And our skate park as well is doing a winter skate camp. So they are doing 2 weeks skate camp starting on December 26th and then ending on January 4th. Yes.
These are not new. These happen each year. Is that correct? The
Yes,
camps?
yes, our camps, yes, we do typically 3 camps a year. We do a winter camp, spring camp, and then a summer camp. Also coming up on Saturday, January 13th, so this gets us into 2024 now. We have our Youth Basketball Classic happening at the Duluth Community Center. And this is a partnership event that we are doing with the Black History Committee. That will be again on Saturday, January 13th. It'll be at the Duluth Community Center from 10 to 2. Registration for this event is $5 and it's open to kids 7 to 17 years of age. And then we will have our next community market at the Duluth Community Center on Saturday, January 20th. And those spots, for anyone who's interested in renting a spot, it's a $10 fee to get your reservation. So shifting gears, some other things that are in motion. We are working on a program at the James O. Jesse Center to have a early childhood development program instructor working with kids out of that center. So in order for us to find the instructor, we are working with our procurement department. So right now we have an RFP that is out and we are looking for instructors to work with us. The deadline for proposals, so for anyone who's interested in providing those services to the city, you need to apply by January 3rd. And the application or the submittal process goes through the city's standard Planet Bids procurement process. Our goal with this early childhood program is that we will get the instructor hired in early 2024. They will begin working on the curriculum, and then with the start of the school year in August, we'll be able to open it up then for the community. We are still in the hiring process right now for lifeguards. So since our last meeting, we did additional swim tests and interviews with lifeguards. So we are making those additional hiring decisions now. Yes, so I'm gonna back up 1 second and go to Commissioner Diaz.
My question is, what building, what facility or what building would you be using for that early childhood class up there at James O.
We're
Jesse?
using the classroom space in James O. Jesse. So the space that's just to the left of the meeting space there, the primary meeting space.
Oh, that little back.
Yeah, that like little classroom.
And what
area.
about that building? I think maybe the school district owns that.
They do.
Out to the
School
side of the
district does
parking
use that.
lot. Okay.
So our program will be inside the
Mm.
community center.
Okay.
So in addition to lifeguards, we do have a number of other recruitments that are pending being posted. So we will be recruiting for an assistant director, project manager, a facility manager, additional park rangers, as well as a recreation program assistant. So those are our recruitments that are still pending. Oh, and I also wanted to take a moment right now to highlight one of our Parks and Recreation staff members, Janice Lopez, who serves as our film permit officer. She also works out of the Demuth Community Center and manages that facility. She was recognized by the California On Location Awards in December as the Public Employee of the Year. So I just want to give her sort of a round of applause. And that completes my director's report.
I feel like you're gonna keep going. Okay, so we're on to presentations. Parks and Rec Master Planning Consultant.
Okay, so for this item, we have our master planning consultants who are here with us today. And before they jump in and actually give you an overview of who they are and their approach to master planning, I just wanted to remind you guys about the City of Palm Springs strategic plan for FY 24 and 25, and the 3 areas that were really highlighted for Parks and Recreation, which our master planning will help address. So one, of course, is to do the master plan for Parks and Recreation. We are well within that target. The second is to prioritize deferred maintenance. So in our master planning process and in all of our processes that we are doing year round, we'll be looking at ways that we can continue to prioritize deferred maintenance for our Parks and Recreational facilities. And that third bucket was to identify high priority facilities for capital improvements. And then just a reminder about where we've been over the past year, 2023, in getting to the point that we're at today. So in early calendar year Q1, Q2 of 2023, we spent a lot of months working with our master planning ad hoc, working on the planning and the development of the scope of services for this project. And then we began working with our procurement department to be able to release a RFP to find the best master planning consultant in the country. So that was released in July. In August, we had a pre-proposal meeting for any of the consultants who were interested in applying. In August, at the end of August, the proposals were due. In September and into a little bit of October, we did the evaluation process as well as the interview phase to find our master planning consultant. And then on October 26th, City Council approved the contract with KDI for this project for us. In November, KDI sort of began with their notice to proceed and started their preliminary planning. And that brings us to today, December 18th, which is the first presentation to the Parks and Recreation Commission, as well as to the public, so the public can get to know this amazing team. And then tomorrow, we will be doing our official project kickoff to really start the schedule and planning of our master planning process. So we have Christian Rodriguez, who is here with us today. And then we also have 2 of our master planning consultants who are on the call. And I just want to make sure that we are, yes, good, getting all of our technology working. Okay, so Shalina and Ellen, can I have you guys unmute your microphones now so that we can hear you guys when you're ready? And then I am going to pass the laptop over to Christian, who will be clicking through the slides. And I'm not sure who actually wants to speak first. So who should we hand it over to for speaking?
I
Okay.
can get started and I'll give them the opportunity to introduce themselves.
Okay, so Arden are shifting there and then, yep, exactly. See, perfect.
Great. Well, good evening, Chair, Commissioners, and members of the public. We're very excited to be here with you this evening. I am Christian Rodriguez, and I am a senior associate and will be acting as principal for this project. On the Concui Design Initiative side, you may call us KDI. It's easier to pronounce. And we'll talk a little bit about our name. So I'll hand it over to my colleagues so they can introduce themselves as well.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I'm not able to join you in person, but I look forward to meeting you in person soon. I'm Shalina Odbert. I'm one of the co-founders of Concui Design Initiative, and I will be helping Christian in principling the project.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ellen Epley. I'm a landscape architect at KDI. Also joining remotely tonight. I wish I could be there in person. I'll be managing this project, so you'll see a lot more of me this year. And on behalf of our entire team, we'd like to thank you for the opportunity to join you today and share more about our approach to the Palm Springs Master Plan.
So I'll first take a few minutes to introduce the project team, and then with our remaining time, I'll walk you through our 5-step approach to the scope that you all laid out, taking the time in each step to highlight our approach to equity, our strategy, and our experience. The Concui Design Initiative is a nonprofit design and community development firm. We're partnering with Agency, a landscape and planning firm, PROS, a parks and rec planning and management firm, and ETC, the largest parks and rec survey firm in the country. As our name suggests, we are a team that takes the time to get to know the people in the communities we work with, ensuring that we build the capacity of all residents to shape the future of their community. We do this work on time and on budget, to the highest professional standard, while being sure to include all additional items needed to deliver a bespoke and impactful final plan. Individually, we are a diverse team and will bring our full selves to the project. And I wore the same hat and jacket for continuity here. As the city, individually, we are a diverse team, and as a city that cares deeply about its people, we want to assure you that your priorities are in alignment with our values. We understand that the future of your park system should be inclusive, accessible to all people, regardless of income, ability, age, gender, race, and religion. And we believe that it should be complete, having all the necessary parts and elements and steps. We believe it should be resilient, capable of withstanding shock without permanent rupture. Delivering such a plan is not just something that we're capable of doing, it is in fact our reason for existing. As a team, we don't just have extensive knowledge and experience doing this work, we are all leaders in getting it done. Between us, we have collectively worked on more than 24 parks and recreation system plans. In all of those plans, we've been recognized for our holistic approach to recreation programming, operations, and finance. Our innovative model of participatory design and planning, and our competencies using statistically valid community opinion to inform decision-making. Agency worked on their first comprehensive park master plan in 2009, and they quickly recognized that the work that was being done at the time, while useful in many administrative ways, really missed the big opportunity of positioning parks as central to the big issues of our time: climate change, urban livability, and economic sustainability. Over the years, they've grown a parks practice dedicated to creating plans that do both. Providing clients with a rigorous analysis and clear actionable roadmap, while also helping to tell the bigger story of parks and their broader impact and potential on communities and cities. And I just.
Thanks so much, Christian. Yvonne, I wonder if I could share the slides on my computer. I think they're out of order here a little bit. Is that possible? If not, we can improvise.
It's probably not easily possible right now. And maybe, did we jump ahead?
I think we might have gotten them a little bit out of order.
Well, here, I can at least talk through the slides. So thank you, Christian. We are very excited to be working on this plan. We are excited to deliver a just park master plan by prioritizing equity through engagement, centering climate resilience, uncovering the unexpected stories and opportunities, and in each step of our process and aspiring to implementation to ensure the plan is not just visionary, but also practical. Throughout that plan, we'll be guided by this vision for equity. And as we walk through the steps, we'll take a moment to highlight some specific opportunities to advance equity. I think these are some of our team slides. So this is images of some of our team working in the community. We are based in both Los Angeles and Coachella. Center there is our team member, Martin, who's a community member, as well as a valued team member here at KDI who'll be working on the project. Right, here's our approach to scope. And so I will be walking us through that right now. Next. Excellent. So looking at our guiding principles, again, we will be prioritizing equity through engagement. Here you can see an image of some of our engagement work. We will also be centering climate resilience, which we think is integral to the development of any parks master plan. We'll be uncovering the unexpected stories and opportunities and in each step of our process, and also aspiring to implementation to ensure the plan is not just visionary, but also practical. Next slide. All right. Throughout the plan, we'll be guided by this vision for equity. And as we walk you through the steps, we'll take a moment to highlight some specific opportunities to advance equity. Next. Our process can be summed up, back up one, thanks. Our process can, Our process can be summed up in a simple set of verbs. We will engage, analyze, recommend, plan, and communicate. And the thing I want to point out is that engagement is continuous and foundational. It doesn't just happen once and it's over. It's something that we believe should be continuous throughout the entire project. Speaking of engagement, in this step, we will deliver a graphic identity for the project, a community engagement plan, focus groups, community workshops, and city working group and stakeholder interviews. The two principles that will guide us in this step are, of course, prioritizing equity through engagement and uncovering the unexpected as we listen to residents and hear and incorporate their stories into the park system of tomorrow. When reading through the 2014 Park Master Plan, we noticed an opportunity for deeper and more inclusive engagement this time around. For example, we know that a traditional community meeting is not always accessible to the widest range of participants due to childcare needs, language barriers, work schedules, We're going to offer traditional meetings and workshops where it makes sense, but our approach is first and foremost about meeting people where they are, at times, places, and in languages that work. The goal of engagement is to hear beyond the loudest voices. To do that, we know we simply can't invite everyone to one large town hall. Instead, we'll structure our work in this step to hear from everyone in a range of groups, spaces, and situations that are comfortable and accessible for everyone, especially those that have historically not participated. Engagement will include community workshops, stakeholder interviews, city working group meetings, focus groups. It will happen in a range of ways depending on what we collectively determine will work best, including walk audits, mobile engagements, activations, media campaign, and a cohesive graphic identity. As an example of this type of engagement, Christian's going to walk you through some of the work we did in the Eastern Coachella Valley for a new park in Oasis.
Thank you, Alan. Our outreach team for the community of Oasis comprised of local youth who worked with KDI to create mobile beacons. We collected stories to gain an understanding of how people see the community and what their aspirations were for their community. This information helped us compile a list of needs and solutions for Oasis residents, which shaped the plans we then put together for the park. Our second step is analyzing. Ellen will jump right back to talk to us about our analyzing process.
Thanks, Christian. So during the analysis phase, we're going to get to know Palm Springs inside and out, this time by analyzing all the good work that has come before us, the work that's currently happening alongside all of us, and the lessons learned over the years. At the end of this step, we'll be able to share with you and the broader community the existing gaps in services and how Palm Springs stacks up to similar sized cities with seasonal population flows with regard to programming, staffing, revenue, facilities, and more. We'll also tell you a bit about where we think the trends are headed so we can identify the intervention points that will have the greatest impact. And because engagement is embedded in every step, it's here that we'll finalize and analyze the statistically valid survey. A lot of this work will be done by our partners at PROS. As KDI is leading engagement, PROS will be doing analysis on the operations of the systems itself. In this step, we'll use our guiding principles to ensure our survey participants are reflective of the city's population. We'll take care to study all of the current climate plans that might affect or overlap with the updated Parks Master Plan. And throughout it all, we'll be looking for those unexpected findings that can give direction and insight to our recommendations. To ensure equity in our analysis, we must collect and analyze a broad enough data set to understand how well the current park system is working for everyone, from the youth to the young at heart. And we'll do that by assessing how the physical attributes of place work for different age groups, and then analyzing the links between programming, community trends, space, and staff. There's also an opportunity to uncover the untold stories and integrate them into the plan. As you saw, the analysis step has a lot of smaller tasks packed in, but they all work together to give us a nuanced understanding of Palm Springs as a place, the current menu of service it offers its residents, and the funding landscape both present and future, in order to make recommendations that are feasible, impactful, and uniquely Palm Springs. Our partners at agency have ample experience in systems analysis, and they use this approach in Bozeman, Montana, a city roughly the same size as Palm Springs. Their analysis led to the development of great facilities that spoke directly to residents' needs, and plans for priority investment areas throughout the city. So we are very excited to partner with them on this project as well. There they are. All right. So in the next step, I will take the analysis from step 2 and we'll think about our recommendations. So this includes recommendations for improvement of existing facilities, recommendations for land acquisition and identification of future parks, and the creation of conceptual plans for existing and future parks. As we make our recommendations, we will ensure they reflect all of our guiding principles. But we see a special opportunity to advance equity in this task by making sure that the recommendations we make, whether they're for existing parks or new ones, are rooted in environmental justice. To do this, we'll add a shade layer to the master plan, especially for the full-time residents who are there in the summer. We'll look for opportunities for nature-based solutions. We'll make parks work harder for the environment and the community by serving as parks and climate resilience hubs. We also see an opportunity to grow equity by getting residents more directly involved in the physical design of future parks through our engagement strategies. We want park plans that reflect the diverse cultures in your city. In order to deliver a set of recommendations that are complete, inclusive, and resilient, we understand that in this step, as we are identifying new parks and programs and/or improvements to existing parks, we should also look for opportunities to reflect new stories, distribute parks equitably, and tailor programming to cultural priorities. We've already done this locally. These are reports from a project in Thermal, a project at the Salton Sea State Rec area, and our partners at agency have done this through the MEC project in Mecklenburg County. Their comprehensive parks and recreation master plan was very hands-on and included engaged process before and during COVID, which we also experienced. It was always challenging. They helped focus reinvestment in areas that had not historically received resources and highlighted, protected, and shared the county's historic arts and culture resources. The second to last step is the action plan. So in this step, we'll take the high-level recommendations that come from the last step, create a roadmap to implementation for you, laying out short and long-term strategies, responsibilities, schedules, and cost estimates. So this is where implementation shines. We see a great opportunity to center equity by prioritizing action in underinvested neighborhoods throughout the engagement process. We'll ask residents to rank project options, make action plans for how to fund and implement top-ranked projects first. To make a successful action plan, we will ensure all parts of the plan are feasible from a staffing, funding, and community stewardship perspective. This action plan will be rigorous, innovative, and practical with check-ins along the way. I guess now is a good time as any to say to confirm we're having our kickoff meeting tomorrow. We're very excited about that. First thing tomorrow, the whole team will be there. Our team's also a month into inventory and analysis of existing parks and programs. We're working on our community engagement plan and a graphic identity for the project. We have a draft of our survey. We're planning our first community engagement, which we'll confirm the date for that tomorrow, but we're thinking mid-January. So hope to see you all there, residents who are at the meeting. Right. And so I'm going to jump back over to Christian for our final step.
So communication, of course, is fundamental for our project. Good communication can be achieved equitably through our engagement process, nimble work, structure, and aspiration for implementation. We understand that 1 in 4 homes in Palm Springs speaks a language other than English. And in Eastern Coachella Valley, we've experienced working with multiple languages, meeting people where they are to get robust responses from the community. And we've used various strategies to make this as accessible for not only folks who speak a different language, but also for folks of different ages. So what you see there on the left is a loteria, which is a sort of bingo in Latin American culture, bingo style cards. And that's actually a dedicated set for the Salton Sea, where we partnered with the local high school art class to develop this debt. And in Juneau, Alaska, actually had the pleasure of working with the city there and the local tribe to develop a vision plan that would highlight arts and culture and integrate not only the presence of the tribe who've been there historically, but also new cultures that had come to the region through various different reasons, and most recently their large tourism industry in Juneau. And although at first glance wouldn't say these three stakeholders had competing priorities or processes to allow them to find commonalities in their vision, allowing youth voices to really drive the recommendations of the future and being the ones leading the development made us think of developing a district plan that had enough flexibility in the case of the Juneau. And our plan includes short, mid, and long-term recommendations that take weather conditions, multicultural representations, connectivity, and a vibrant art and cultural presence as guiding principles. The plan is designed in a way to allow anyone to further imagine the materializing of implementation. So we always want to leave, and particularly in this process, we definitely want to leave opportunity for future generations to be able to integrate themselves in this planning process, and allow folks who might not be necessarily engaged right off the bat to also have an entry point as this plan. And as you all know, these plans take years to actually be implemented and need to have flexibility along the way as the implementation begins to happen. So we will have that as a principle for ourselves as well, leaving enough flexibility, but giving enough structure to get us underway. And so we are happy to take any questions from you.
Christian, can you go back to the early slide? I think you had the four, I think there's 4 partners in this with you, or all together?
We really wanted to show you the whole breadth of the thing and then added a lot of slides, so we go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Is this the one?
That's what you're looking for, right, Rob?
Yeah, I was just, so. You got, okay. And have the 4 of you worked together before, together?
Yes, I'll jump in here. We haven't worked together in this region, but we've all worked together in many different ways. Agency, PROS, and ETC have delivered many of the master plans that we showed today in the presentation collectively. And then KDI and agency are longstanding partners.
Okay, thank you.
Did you say the first community meeting would be in January, and is that live, or what's the goal to reach the biggest audience we can?
We'll confirm tomorrow when we meet with the Parks and Recreation staff. We have an outline that we want to present to them, and then we'll get confirmation if the timeline that we're suggesting makes sense. So nothing is confirmed just as of yet. I think my colleague was just saying this is an aspirational placeholder.
Yeah, sorry if there's any confusion. And we'll have 4 community meetings over the course of the year. So there will be multiple opportunities for everyone to join.
Great, that was my next question. How many meetings?
And in addition to those formal meetings, as Ellen mentioned in the presentation, we like to do a lot of what we call deployments. So these are things that might overlap with many of the wonderful programming opportunities that you all offer. So for example, maybe at one of the community markets, our team might use that as an opportunity to attend and to use that as an opportunity for input or feedback. That's just one example from what Yvonne presented this evening, but we'll look to the Parks and Rec team to help us understand where there might be good opportunities where your programming and our work can overlap.
What you're saying on the screen now is actually, we were talking about the Oasis Park, and this is one of those mobile engagements that we did where the youth turned this shade structure for farm workers and turned it into what we refer to as beacon, engagement beacon, to meet people where they are and get people interested in wanting to participate with us.
Yeah, compliment question. Thank you very much. This is an extremely comprehensive overview. I'm sure you can figure out by just attending this meeting that we have a very passionate population here. It's really diverse with a lot of different needs and wants and desires. And we've been talking about how the planning process will really give us a nice framework in terms of reference to make these dreams and desires possible. So this was just a very, very great presentation for the public. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and apologies for the mixed up slides at the beginning, but we'll send to all of you the slides in order in case you'd like to relook at the opening ones.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
We're gonna do a project update presentation. as well. Good, get that one.
Okay. Okay, so at each of our meetings, we usually go through a few projects with an update on the status. Swim center shade structures, we talked about this at the last meeting. Really, the only thing we have to do to close out this project is the administrative side of the Prop 68 grant reporting. So this is in the closeout phase. Also Prop 68 project, that photo didn't show up again. Interesting. I feel like that happened in the last meeting. So for James O'Jesse, we have two things that still need to be done for the grant. We need to do the procurement of the turf for the ball field and then get that installed. And then we'll wrap that up with the Prop 68 grant reporting. And hopefully at the next meeting, I'll have a better sense of the timeline for the completion of that component of that grant award. Capital Project 1928 is our recreation ball field lighting upgrade. So that is in the construction phase right now. We are still on schedule with the anticipated completion being April of 2024. So I've got that there is Q2 of 2024. So construction phase on that project. Playgrounds, I mentioned a little bit at the beginning of the meeting as well. So we are in the fabrication and shipping phase for the playground equipment for Victoria Park as well as Demuth Park. And again, our plan is in early calendar year 2024 to install the Victoria Park playground and then open that facility back up. And then immediately after begin installing the new playground equipment at Demuth.
And that's one of my questions. Do we know if the stuff has been shipped yet, or are we still?
Yes, everything, yes, is shipping to us. So we're still right on
Yay.
schedule there. So all
Okay.
good there with that project. And the kids will be really excited soon. Swim Center, capital improvements. So at the beginning of the meeting, I mentioned that we had our community outreach meeting, or that second community outreach meeting on December 5th. So with that feedback that the design team received from the community, they are currently working with staff and will continue the design development process. One of the next big steps on that project will be for the design team to present to the Parks and Rec Commission, because you guys have not seen a presentation yet on that. So as soon as we feel like the concept is close, we will have the design team present to you. That could be January, that could be February. We just need a little bit more time to work out that specific timeline. And that's a Measure J funded project as well. Demuth Park, so at our last meeting, we had Kimley Horn come and they actually gave a comprehensive presentation on all of the improvements to Demuth Park. So the city took a lot of different projects and combined them into one Demuth Park project. And Kimley Horn is also the design team for that project. That project does include a large dog park as well as the small dog park, and then includes just a lot of improvements at Demuth, including paving projects as well as a sidewalk restoration. So next big step on that one is for us to continue working with the design team to schedule the date for the community outreach meeting for the dog park components of that project.
Do we have any date in mind yet?
We
Or
don't have a date. I'm envisioning it will probably be late January or early February.
okay, and we'll do it just like we did the swim center one and all that. Okay.
So that's in the design phase. The new shade structure at the Demuth Dog Park, the benches were just installed under the shade structure by our parks and maintenance crew. So I'm just showing you an image of that. I showed obviously the shade structure at the last meeting, and this was just done last Friday.
Does that have the extra DG at it too?
It does,
Yeah,
it
it
does.
looks
So that's
like it.
already, yeah,
Okay.
in that photo as well. So this project is sort of to do interim enhancements while we are working on the larger project to do the more significant capital improvements to the park. And the design team, of course, when you've got sort of two projects that are overlapping, so the design team is staying in close contact with us so that as we are making the interim improvements, that those will be folded into the final capital improvements as well. So lots of collaboration and coordination and communication on that to make that possible. Capital Project 22-24, of course, is our Demuth Pickleball Court expansion project. So we had on November 8th, we had that community outreach meeting. On November 27th, Kimley Horn presented to the Parks and Rec Commission. After that meeting, they went back to the drawing board and worked on further developing a design concept. On December 12th, they presented a design concept to the community. And as we heard today in public comment, they presented one design concept as opposed to multiple design concepts like they did in previous meetings. And what we have received a lot of feedback on, of course, is the number of courts as well as the tennis court, as well as some of the trees as well. So the design team right now is taking all of the feedback that they've received from the community and working on a further developed design concept to present. Next significant step on this project, of course, would be a presentation to the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting once they have that new concept further developed. And I'll keep going through these, and I know we'll probably talk a little bit more about pickleball when we get to the ad hoc report section as well. We are working on the Measure J project to get the outdoor exercise equipment for the James O. Jesse Center as well. So this is in the project planning and estimating phase. Next steps, of course, would include then contracting and then installation and completion. And as this one moves a little bit more forward, I'll have a better sense of what that timeline may be. But it's really in the planning phase right now. And I believe Commissioner Nagaya may talk a little bit about this one in the ad hoc report too. For Sunrise Playground, we are working on new ground resurfacing because the rubberized surfacing right now is very old and worn. So it's in the project planning and estimating phase. And as this project continues to move forward, I'll get you more accurate sort of dates and a timeline for that. Desert Highland Walking Path. So that is the walking path that I have highlighted there in yellow. So it's the path that actually goes from the parking spots to the community center. Right now, that is just sort of a stepping stone path. So we are working on a project to make that a standard concrete path to the building. Same thing there as that further rolls out this year. We'll have a better sense of the timeline on that project. But right now we're in the estimating phase. Demuth Soccer Fields is one that we had our engineering department just talk a little bit about. It's one that hasn't moved forward yet significantly. It's really just still in the planning phase. But it's really to make the soccer fields into really permanent soccer fields at Demuth. So it's really still in the planning phase, as I've indicated there.
And so is that behind where is that? Behind the ball fields by the small dog park, sort of?
It is kind of near the small dog park,
Okay.
yes. It's closer to the small dog park, kind of than the large dog park. It's on the
Yeah.
small dog park side. that is actually the end of my report for the project update section.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We can start with any ad if you want to get a little graphic.
I have that graphic, but no other graphics for this one.
Okay, I guess I'll do dog park. I was there when we opened on Taylor Swift's birthday, handing out tennis balls and things. Everybody was thrilled that we were reopened. It looks great, of course, because it was the first day, so everything looks green and fresh and pretty. And everybody's happy because it's open that day, right? I have not been back since that first day, but that was only, what, 5 days ago or something? I thought the benches looked great under the shade structure of Duluth. I'm really happy about that. I still would like to get some sort of signage for the small dog park in Duluth, because really, if you don't know where it is, you're not gonna find it. So just a sign that says small dog park this way would be, that's really all that would be needed. And maybe a cruise station. Those would be the two things. That's it for dog park. Master plan. Commissioner Meyer.
I feel like that's been enough for me. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing about the official date for community engagement, because I think that could involve everybody from all of these groups, so.
Park enhancement. Is that you, Mr. Nagaya?
It is.
Okay.
So the only thing that I would add is on the 12th of this month, the Desert Highland Gateway Estates Action Association, that's a mouthful, got together and they had a public meeting to discuss the equipment for the outdoor exercise equipment.
Oh, good.
I attended because I'm a fitness instructor, so I wanted to be there as a resource, but we were able to select all of the items that that we need and stay within budget. So looking forward to seeing that go into fruition.
Cool. So the community got to pick what they wanted.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
good. Pickleball. Everybody's favorite subject today.
I just want to start by saying that I want to commend the ad hoc committee. They've done incredible work leading up to tonight's meeting, tonight's presentation. As was previously noted in tonight's meeting, we had a community engagement in November. We had a second community engagement early this month, which was very, I want to find the appropriate word, spirited and well attended. We had a lot of attendees at the November meeting, probably about close to 100 people. For the most recent meeting, we had about 40 people. Subsequent to the most recent meeting, we had a gathering of the ad hoc committee via Zoom, and we're collectively very emphatic about this project. We want to see it proceed on schedule. That's maybe just a little bit at this point in time behind schedule, but we will proceed. And certainly, as far as the director, as far as this commission, as far as myself and Commissioner Davis, who's working with me on this ad hoc, on this initiative, everyone's enthusiastic and wants to see something that's put together to the satisfaction of the community at large. Certainly aware that not everyone's going to be 100% happy, but reasonable facsimile of the vision that people had when this project commenced. That's what we want to bring to fruition. Right now, Kimberly Horn representatives, design consultants are working on the most recent suggestions. I also want to thank and commend the ad hoc for their independent work and hours and time that they put in on this project, gathering statistical information and insights based upon their experience of being at this site and observing and watching and seeing what's happening and what's going on. So I really do commend them for that. They shared either verbally or via email data that they collated and gathered together to share with us. That in turn, via Yvonne, we're able to forward it to Horn. So it's moving along. I will just await at this point in time feedback from Kimberly Horn when they're ready for our next presentation and our next step. But we're proceeding. This isn't stalled, and I admire the fortitude and the enthusiasm of the ad hoc committee. I thank them for their support, for their insights. They're a wonderful group, and certainly in navigating our way through this project, we couldn't have done it without them because they're very knowledgeable people.
Agreed.
With that being said, Commissioner Davis, is there anything that you'd like to add? Okay, then that would wrap up my presentation for pickleball.
Great. Swim center,
Swim centers.
that is Scott and
Yes.
Dawn. Do you want to give the update from the last community meeting? We were both there.
It was a great community meeting. There was a significant amount of comments and great suggestions that were provided, and you guys did a great job setting it up and getting everything going. It was really great.
Yeah, I think that community is happy that things are moving forward at least. Do you have any general commissioner comments? Got it. Whoever.
I just want to jump in, and I know the holiday is over, but I just belated Happy Hanukkah to those who observe. And for further general comments, obviously, of course, forthcoming, Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa. And for whatever holiday you celebrate, I hope it's joyful, happy, and gives you a great vision for the forthcoming 2024. So happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you.
I just wanted to commend Yvonne on getting us back on track this year. I think that it's been a really positive sort of on-ramp experience, and I feel like we're getting close to the amount of programming, public engagement that we had pre-COVID. So it's been very inspiring to see and to participate in as a community member. So I just want to thank you again for your work this year and for everyone's time as well. We volunteer because we really care about the city and its future. So thank you all for everything you do as well.
Anybody else?
Looking forward to a great 2024 with this group.
I don't have anything, so we'll look at me. We don't have any more commissioner updates. Can I ask for a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. So the next meeting will be January the 23rd.
Second.
5:30.
My second.
Is it?
Wonder for the calendar as well.
I am back in once it's 23rd. January 22nd, 5:30, same place. See you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you. Great.
Happy holidays.